Buddy, it's Dwayne Huff with Band Leadership Seminars, Band Leadership Online, and happy Bandtober. What an exciting time of year. Competitions are in full swing. The weather's starting to change, get a little cool. Even here in South Louisiana, it's just a great time of year. And I know you guys have been really working hard. This time of year, I try to lay back, let you do your thing, not put too much content forth. But every once in a while, someone's on my YouTube channel or stumbles across one of my videos and has a question for me. And that's what got me to shoot this video for you today. Again, as I'm shooting this, it's Bandtober. It is October 8th, and I know another weekend's coming up, so I know another competition is coming up for some of you guys. And I had this section leader reach out to me and ask me a question on my YouTube channel. By the way, if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you subscribe, hit the little notification button so you'll be notified when I post these videos. And if this serves you or helps you, please share it with someone, especially your band director, because they may not know me and my work yet, and I would love to serve you guys at the highest level. That's what I'm here for. After all, isn't that what leadership is all about? So here's the question without further ado that came in from a section leader. I'm gonna read it right here, so forgive me from looking away. Mr. Huff, I am a section leader and having trouble with a person in my section who is very driven and loves band, but tends to come off as mean and bossy. I know you've never seen that in your you've never seen that before, have you? Yeah, it happens all the time, especially with teenagers. And that's not a dig on teenagers. It's just the way it is. A lot of drama sets in, and that's part of the equation. And that's part of why you're being called, or you've been called to leadership. So goes on to say that his advice is valid, and so are his points, and he has great things to say. But as a band, members are supposed to refrain from correcting others. I totally agree. These points and comments made are perceived, rightfully so, as condescending and mean. How do I encourage him to keep thinking well and putting his efforts into band, but into his individual performance rather than others? Okay, so that's a lot to unpack here, and I took a few notes so that I didn't get sidetracked. The first thing is, and I'm going to drop a link for everyone below this video here in the YouTube, so if you'll track down there, you're going to see this. The first thing that we need to understand is the dominant type behavioral style, because it sounds like this person might be that. But before I say that, the very first thing that needs to happen is, even though I'm going to give you some advice here because I've been in your situation, for those of you who don't know me, 9-time student leader, 6-time drum major in the band, not to impress you, but to impress upon you. I've been there. I've dealt with what you guys are dealing with, and that's why I want to serve you. But first and foremost, bring this to your band director, because at the end of the day, they get the say on how you approach this, and they may give you some nuggets of wisdom that they've seen over the years as band directors that will help you resolve that just like that. Or they may not want you to get involved at all. They may handle it. But I can appreciate this person's enthusiasm, as it sounds like this section leader can as well. And you don't want to squelch that. One of our responsibilities as leaders is to develop and recognize and mentor other leaders. And it sounds like this student has some leadership qualities. They just haven't learned how to refine the message in a way that's compelling rather than repelling, right? And so the first thing we need to do is understand the dominant behavioral style. And I'm not going to get to that in this video. I'm going to link below it, but make sure that you watch the video below, because I cover 4 different behavioral styles of the people that you're dealing with in your band, and one of them is a dominant personality style. So if people are getting their feelings hurt, or if the person's coming across mean or condescending, the first goal, or the first thing that we need to do, number one, as a section leader, is to understand that behavioral style. And number 2, help the rest of your section to understand that behavioral style. Because once you understand it, what comes across as mean and condescending all of a sudden may dissipate, because you guys get how this person's wired, as opposed to taking it personally. Now, I'm not condoning that person's behavior. Yes, they need to be positive, they need to be enthusiastic, and they need to set the example in their own performance rather than correcting everybody else. But if you understand how that person is wired, almost instantly, you may not see it as condescending or mean anymore. You see it kind of as direct and driven, I think was mentioned in there. But that's the first thing. So I'll leave the link to that video below on behavioral styles. You're absolutely going to love it. Everybody who watches that video absolutely loves that video, so check it out. And you know how to deal with the behavioral style of the dominant type personality. The next thing I put down here is calmly restate for clarification. So what I'm saying is if this person's enthusiastic and driven and is trying to give direction or correction to the people in the section, including you, section leader, that can cause a few problems there. So if you see people walking away feeling hurt, or you see them roll their eyes, or you see them frown, or whatever the case might be, one of the greatest things that you can do is be a clarifying voice or a positive reinforcement. So if that person says something in a condescending or perceived negative way, you can step right in and say, hey, I love what this person's saying right here, because what he or she is trying to do is help us to play this with a little more ease, or to march this without putting forth so much effort, or really pay attention during rehearsal while the band director's talking. So you can be the one who steps in and positively spins it and reinforces it. Sorry, one of my alarms went off there. Positive reinforces it so that it doesn't have such a sting or a harsh feeling to it. And by doing that subtly, that person may pick up on the fact that they're being a little bit too direct and correctional as opposed to being motivational and enthusiastic, which may be what they're trying to be. They just haven't figured out how to communicate it that way yet. So be that voice of positive reinforcement and clarify or restate for clarifications. Questions. As a section leader, questions are so very powerful. Teach your section and you be the example of how to, whenever this person comes across as harsh or correctional or demanding or quote unquote mean, take a positive assumption that they're not trying to be that at all. They're just trying to get their message across or their point across, and they just don't know how to soften it up and deliver it in the right way. And so if you could step in and you could say something like, just a very non-assuming voice, just simply say, great, how do you mean exactly? That question, how do you mean exactly, is very powerful if there's no attitude in it, right? Or another way of asking is, hey, that's a great idea. Tell me more about that. Tell me exactly how you're seeing that, right? Step in, be that buffer. Because what's going to happen is when you ask those questions, you're going to give that person a chance to elaborate. And then when you do that and everybody's just sitting there listening, all of a sudden they realize, oh, he or she didn't mean it that way. They meant it this way, and it's positive. Sometimes the dominant type personalities stop just short of explanation, and it comes across as blunt, harsh, mean, dictatorial, right? And so you ask a simple question, a clarifying question, and you allow that person to elaborate, you won't have to say a word. They'll clarify, they'll elaborate, they'll say why, and the rest of the section will go, oh, okay, cool. But sometimes that leadership, don't be scared of it. He's got leadership or she's got leadership tendencies and qualities. They're trying to assert themselves, but in the process, they're being maybe aggressive. And if you can ask those clarifying questions, how do you mean exactly? Tell me more about that. Can you show me is another way to get that to work out. Or you can just simply restate and say, so if I understand you correctly, what you're asking us to do is this for this reason. Do I understand that right? And that person might go, oh, no, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it that way, right? Or they might say, yeah. And the reason I'm asking you to do this is because by simply doing that, you can soften the blow and you can dissolve and diffuse the tension that's going on within your section because of this person trying to stretch their leadership wings. Remember, as a leader, one of your jobs is to develop and mentor other leaders, and this is your opportunity to do that. And finally, I said it in one of my last videos, instead of taking the approach of getting aggravated with that person, pulling them aside and saying, hey, what's wrong with you? Why are you being so direct and mean to these people? Which I'm sure you wouldn't do. But if you're tempted to do that, take a deep breath, pull them aside away from everybody else so there's no show to be had, and simply say, hey, I love your enthusiasm for band and you're always so committed. I'm just not accustomed to seeing it come out as directly as it does. Is everything okay? You just took a positive assumption and gave them the benefit of the doubt away from their peers so they don't have to defend, and they may come to the self-realization, you know what? That was kind of harsh. I totally didn't mean that. So many very subtle things that you can do to make the situation better. Again, number one, talk to your band director. Let them know what's going on, and see how they want you to handle it. Number 2, understand that dominant behavioral style. Hit the link below and you'll see that video. I think you'll absolutely love it. Share it with others, and please share this video if you enjoyed it. Calmly restate for clarification. How do you mean exactly? Tell me more. Can you show me if I understand you correctly? If you do that as a leader, you soften or give them the opportunity to soften it up, so that when you take a positive assumption, all of a sudden everybody understands and they're like, oh, okay. Be the positive reinforcement. If it comes across harsh, just simply sit and say, hey, you know what? I love what he's saying here. I love what she's saying there, because she's trying to get us to see this, or he's trying to get us to do that, or, we're working too hard right here. So I really appreciate you calling that out. Calling that out, not calling them out. Do you see what I'm saying? And then finally, instead of pulling them aside and saying, what's wrong with you? Pulling them aside, taking a positive assumption, reinforce that positive. Man, I love how enthusiastic. I wish everybody was enthusiastic about band as you are, and I really appreciate you speaking up and being assertive about your opinions. I'm just not accustomed to seeing it come out that directly. Is everything okay with you? Or are you okay? And they might go, yeah, why? Well, no, it's cool. I mean, I love your enthusiasm. It came across kind of harsh, and that's just not like you. So watch this video a few times if you need to reinforce that, but I believe that will serve. Number 1, go to your band director, let them know what's happening, and I hope this serves. Drop me a comment, let me know, give me a like, share this, and more importantly than anything, subscribe and stay tuned so that I can serve you on the highest level. If you're watching this and you have a question, as you just saw, I answer the questions that come, and I'm here to serve you. That's what leadership is all about. And until we talk next time, remember, you can inspire superior performance in your peers. You've just got to be willing to A, set the example, have the right attitude, show up consistently, and B, set the example so much that the people who do not follow it feel uncomfortable not following it, and they follow as a result of wanting to be a part of the tone that you and the rest of the leaders on your team are setting. Have a great Bandtober. Good luck in all your competitions, and we'll talk soon. Have a great day. Bye-bye.